So this was an interesting one from over the weekend. Former UCF cornerback Chasen Johnson commits to SMU, or I should say signs with SMU, was committed to USC for a couple days. So again, former corner from UCF, had a strong freshman year for the Knights. USC was involved there, was committed there, and then just a couple days later ends up signing with UCF. This is a guy who played almost 500 snaps this year in his true freshman season, started 4 out of the last 5 games of the year, was a 3-star recruit out of Sanford Seminole High School in Florida, which is a strong program, produces talent almost every year. Ends up going to SMU here, D. So this is a obviously flip-flop there, USC, SMU. But this is a guy who had a lot of interest from across a lot of different schools.
Yeah, he's somebody from the state of Florida, was more of a receiver for a while in his career, ends up switching to cornerback later in his high school career full-time, and gets that UCF offer, plays early as a freshman. He's got length. Even though he's a former receiver, I think he's more of a pass deflection guy than someone who's going to be looking to intercept the ball, but he plays with an attitude. He can locate the ball. He has length. He has speed, and he's the perfect combo if you're SMU, because he has experience in a Power 4 conference in the Big 12, but he's young. You have multiple years of eligibility with him. And look, SMU, of course, it's Texas, right? SMU has had a ton of success with Florida players, particularly Florida players that they acquired through the portal from Florida schools. Talk about Elijah Roberts, their best pass rusher. Jafari Harvey, another big-time pass rusher. Roberts is from Miami, Florida. Jafari Harvey is from the Treasure Coast of Florida. You look at Brashard Smith, their star running back from Miami, Florida. Also, they had Romello Brinson, who's contributed in the receiving game. So these guys have had success in the state of Florida with these transfers. Chasen Johnson is somebody who I think they're getting while his value is rising. The guys they got from Miami, the guys I mentioned, they were more faded players who they were able to really give a jump start to and get a lot of production out of. With Johnson, he's somebody who his star is rising. He had a very good true freshman year. He has the multiple years of eligibility. He has the speed and the size, blocked a lot of kicks in high school, shows that explosive ability. I believe he also blocked one at UCF. So he has that first step quickness that you want, that twitch that you need at the cornerback position. So SMU is a program they're trying to be built to last. They're not just trying to take 1-year players. Getting a guy like Johnson, that is your starting cornerback day one with multiple years of eligibility. I think it makes a lot of sense. And if you're SMU, look, there's a lot of competition in Texas right now, right? You have Texas rolling, number 1 recruiting program in the country right now. Texas A&M is recruiting at a very high level. You still have your TCUs, your Texas Techs, and other schools in the area coming and getting players. Florida, even though you have so many primetime programs there, they're not necessarily clicking on all cylinders right now. UCF's had a down year. They lost their coach. Miami's recruiting well, but taking more of a national approach. Florida State, not recruiting well at all. Florida starting to improve on the recruiting front, but has missed on some guys. So Florida's a little vulnerable right now. You can come in and pluck some good players, whether it's from high school and the portal, in this case, leaving the Lone Star State to the Sunshine State and grabbing a talented young corner who can help you right away while also helping you in the future.
And then just big picture with SMU, if you're an SMU fan, you have to feel very good about continuing to load up on the defensive side of the ball, understanding that Rhett Lashley is going to have things right offensively. You see what he's done with Kevin Jennings at quarterback this year and the way he's been able to get that offense clicking. But if you're an SMU fan, the more defensive pickups, the better, you've got to think.
Absolutely. Especially, we talked about the quarterback play in the ACC, right? ACC looked at as the third conference between the Big Ten and the SEC, which, look, that's probably right. However, if you talk about the quarterback position, I think the ACC pretty much over the last few years has been the most consistently strong quarterback conference in the country. You just look at just this year, right? You have Cam Ward. He's a Heisman finalist. Tyler Shuck for Louisville had a great season. Cade Klubnik for Clemson, despite some early struggles, really came on strong as a dual threat player. You look at Kevin Jennings at SMU, a really good quarterback who will be facing Chasen Johnson in practice. So A lot of very talented quarterbacks in this conference. Kyle McCord, of course, top 10 Heisman finalists. You had 2 top 10 Heisman finalists from the same conference, the Atlantic Coast Conference. And I think you need cornerbacks to slow some of these offenses down, especially when you're flying up the field and not necessarily giving your defense a chance to rest. You need just a couple third down stops where you get a timely deflection. This is what you need. It's a unique offense, right? You're not looking to shut teams out when you're SMU. You're going to have so many possessions that your defense is going to give some up, but you need to win those critical downs. I think Chasen Johnson, with his length, with his experience, and with his upside, gives you a chance to do that.